Julie Frances Christie is a British actress, a pop icon of the swinging London era of the 1960s. She has won the Academy, Golden Globe, BAFTA, and Screen Actors Guild Awards. Christie's breakthrough film role was in Billy Liar. In 1966, she won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance in the 1965 film Darling. That same year, she starred as Lara in Dr. Zhivago. In the following years, she starred in Fahrenheit 451, Far from the Madding Crowd, Petulia, The Go-Between, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Don't Look Now, Shampoo, and Heaven Can Wait. From the early 1980s, Christie reduced her appearances in mainstream films. She has continued to receive significant critical recognition for her work, including Oscar nominations for the independent films Afterglow and Away From Her. In 1997, she received the BAFTA Fellowship. Early life. Christie was born on 14 April 1940 at Singlajan Tea Estate, Chabua, Assam, British India, the elder child of Rosemary, a painter, and Francis Frank St. John Christie. Her father ran the tea plantation where she was raised. She has a younger brother, Clive, and an older half-sister, June, from her father's relationship with an Indian woman, who worked as a tea picker on his plantation. Frank and Rosemary Christie separated when Julie was a child. She was baptized in the Church of England and studied as a boarder at the independent convent of Our Lady School in St. Leonards-on-Sea, East Sussex. After being expelled from another convent school for telling a risque joke that reached a wider audience than originally anticipated. After being asked to leave the convent of Our Lady as well, she later attended Wickham Court School, High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, during which time she lived with a foster mother from the age of 6. After her parents' divorce, Christie spent time with her mother in rural Wales. As a teenager at the all-girls Wickham Court School, she played the Dolphin in a production of Shaw's St. Joan. She later studied at the Central School of Speech and Drama. Career. Christie made her professional stage debut in 1957, and her first screen roles were on British television. Her big break came in the 1961 BBC serial A for Andromeda. She was a contender for the role of Honey Rider in the first James Bond film, Dr. No, but producer Albert R. Broccoli reportedly thought her breasts were too small. In 1962, Christie appeared in feature films with co-starring roles in a pair of comedies for independent artists, Crooks Anonymous and The Fast Lady. Her breakthrough role, however, was as Liz, the friend and would-be lover of the eponymous character played by Tom Courtenay in Billy Liar, which earned her a BAFTA Award nomination. The director, John Schlesinger, had cast Christie only after another actress dropped out of the film. Life magazine hailed 1965 as the year of Julie Christie, when the young actress became known internationally for her role as an amoral model in Darling. Directed by Schlesinger, Christie, who won the lead role after the casting of Shirley MacLaine fell through, won numerous accolades for her performance, including the Academy Award for Best Actress. Christie starred in 2 other films released in 1965, first appearing as Daisy Battles in Young Cassidy, a biopic of Irish playwright Sean O'Casey, co-directed by Jack Cardiff and John Ford. Her last film of the year was David Lean's Dr. Zhivago, adapted from the epic romance novel by Boris Pasternak. The film was a box office smash, and Christie's role as Lara Antipova would become her most famous. In 1966, Christie played a dual role in François Truffaut's adaptation of the Ray Bradbury novel Fahrenheit 451, where she starred opposite Oscar Werner. Later, she played Thomas Hardy's heroine Bathsheba Everdeen in Schlesinger's Far from the Madding Crowd, and the title role, Petulia Danner, in Richard Lester's Petulia, opposite George C. Scott. Christie's persona as the swinging 60s British bird she had embodied in Billy Liar and Darling was further cemented by her appearance in the documentary Tonight Let's All Make Love in London. In 1967, Time magazine said of her, "What Julie Christie wears has more real impact on fashion than all the clothes of the 10 best-dressed women combined." In 1971, Christie co-starred with Alan Bates in Joseph Losey's romantic drama The Go-Between, which won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. She earned a second Best Actress Oscar nomination the same year for her role as a brothel madam in Robert Altman's postmodern western McCabe and Mrs. Miller. The film marked the first of 3 collaborations between Christie and Warren Beatty, who described her as the most beautiful and at the same time the most nervous person I had ever known. The two had a high-profile but intermittent relationship between 1967 and 1974. After the relationship ended, they worked together again in the hit comedies Shampoo and Heaven Can Wait. Her other films during the 1970s include Nicholas Roeg's controversial thriller Don't Look Now, in which she had a graphic sex scene with Donald Sutherland, and the science fiction horror film Demon Seed, based on the novel of the same name by Dean Koontz. Having moved to Los Angeles in 1967, Christie returned to the United Kingdom in 1977, where she lived on a farm in Wales. In 1979, she was a member of the jury at the 29th Berlin International Film Festival. Never a prolific actress, even at the height of her fame and bankability, Christie turned down many high-caliber film roles, including Anne of the Thousand Days, They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, Nicholas and Alexandra, and Reds, all of which earned Oscar nominations for the actresses who eventually played them. In the 1980s, Christie appeared in non-mainstream films such as The Return of the Soldier and Heat and Dust. She had the major supporting role in Sidney Lumet's Power opposite Richard Gere and Gene Hackman. In 1988, she starred in the television film Dada is Death, based on the Barlow and Chambers execution, playing Barlow's mother who desperately fights to save her son from being hanged for drug trafficking in Malaysia. In 1996, Christie appeared as Gertrude in Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. Her next critically acclaimed role was the unhappy wife in Alan Rudolph's 1997 domestic comedy drama Afterglow, which gained her a third Oscar nomination. Also in 1997, she received the British Academy's highest honour, the BAFTA Fellowship. In 2004, Christie made a brief cameo appearance in the third Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, playing Madame Rosmerta. That same year, she also appeared in 2 other high-profile films, Wolfgang Petersen's Troy with Brad Pitt and Mark Forster's Finding Neverland, as Kate Winslet's mother. The latter performance earned Christie a BAFTA nomination as supporting actress in film. Christie portrayed the female lead in Away From Her, a film about a long-married Canadian couple coping with the wife's Alzheimer's disease. Based on the Alice Munro short story, The Bear Came Over the Mountain, the movie was the first feature film directed by Christie's sometime co-star, Canadian actress Sarah Polley. She took the role, she says, only because Polly is her friend. Polly has said Christie liked the script but initially turned it down as she was ambivalent about acting. It took several months of persuasion by Polly before Christie finally accepted the role. In July 2006, she was a member of the jury at the 28th Moscow International Film Festival, debuting at the Toronto International Film Festival on the 11th of September 2006 as part of the TIFF Gala Showcase. Away From Her drew rave reviews from the trade press, including The Hollywood Reporter, and the 4 Toronto dailies. The critics singled out the performances of Christie and her co-star, Canadian actor Gordon Pinsent, and Polly's direction. Christie's performance generated Oscar buzz, leading the distributor, Lionsgate Entertainment, to buy the film at the festival to release the film in 2007 to build momentum during the awards season. On 5 December 2007, she won the Best Actress award from the National Board of Review for her performance in Away From Her. She also won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Motion Picture Drama, the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Leading Role, and the Genie Award for Best Actress for the same film. On the 22nd of January 2008, Christie received her fourth Oscar nomination for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role at the 80th Academy Awards. She appeared at the ceremony wearing a pin calling for the closure of the prison in Guantanamo Bay. In 2008, Christie narrated Uncontacted Tribes, a short film for the British-based charity Survival International, featuring previously unseen footage of remote and endangered peoples. She has been a long-standing supporter of the charity, and in February 2008, was named as its first ambassador. She appeared in a segment of the 2008 film, New York, I Love You, written by Anthony Minghella, directed by Shekhar Kapoor and co-starring Shia LaBeouf, as well as Inglorious 39, about a British family at the start of World War II. In 2011, Christie played a sexy, bohemian version of the grandmother role in Catherine Hardwicke's Gothic retelling of Red Riding Hood. Her most recent role was in the political thriller The Company You Keep, where she co-starred with Robert Redford. Personal life. In the early 1960s, Christie dated actor Terence Stamp. She was engaged to Don Besant, a lithographer and art teacher, in 1965, before dating actor Warren Beatty for several years. She is married to The Guardian journalist Duncan Campbell. They have lived together since 1979. In January 2008, several news outlets reported that the couple had quietly married in India 2 months earlier, in November 2007, which Christie called nonsense, adding, "I have been married for a few years. Don't believe what you read in the papers." In the late 1960s, her advisors adopted a very complex scheme in an attempt to reduce her tax liability, giving rise to the leading case of Black Nominees Limited v. Nickel. The case was heard by Templeman J., who gave judgment in favor of the Inland Revenue, ruling that the scheme was ineffective. She is also active in various causes, including animal rights, environmental protection, and the anti-nuclear power movement, and is also a patron of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, as well as Reprieve, and CFS, Me Charity Action for Me. Filmography. Theatre.